think that's a huge part of it. When you acknowledge the things that you have, it says, okay, I'm allowing myself to receive more. You open the door, because we can block our blessings and our gifts by not being open to receiving. It's like you can give all day, and giving is a huge part of it too, but it has to go like this. You have to be able to receive as much as you need to give. They're both equally important.
Welcome to Get Scene Unscripted. I'm your host, Jesse Malinowski. We are going to dive into acting insights, meet industry pros, and master the business. Don't forget to subscribe and share. We're keeping you behind the scenes and ahead of the game. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thanks so much for tuning back in. If this is your first time, welcome to Get Scene Unscripted. I'm your host, Jesse Malinowski. And if you're coming back, thanks so much. Make sure to subscribe. And if you enjoy this channel and this show, make sure to leave us a review. And speaking of those, I got to give a shout out to Kathy Sandvoss. She said, another extraordinary interview, Jesse. You engage with such thoughtfulness and excitement. They're also helpful in my career, and I've gained so much insight to pass on to my sons who are just starting to make their way in as young adults. Kathy, thank you so much for sharing that. And that really does mean so much that the show is helping you beyond just an acting career, but actually with your son. So that's incredible. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And let's dive into another incredible episode right now. I have Miss Michele Briana White in the house. Everyone, she plays Lucille Flannery on BMF. What's up, girl?
What's happening, Jesse?
How you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm excited. I have little butterflies about being here, but I'm super excited.
I love it. I feel like the butterflies, right? Those nerves, that just means it's important to you.
That's right.
Yeah. I feel like with it like being important to you, like I immediately, for some reason, like want to talk about the fans of the show.
Ooh. Okay.
And like, how does that make you feel, like that you have so many people so invested in the show, love the show? You know, a lot of it is based on true events, right? So like, yeah. and just being able, I feel like that's got to have like a different kind of pressure.
Sometimes, but I talk to the real Miss Lucille all the time.
Yeah.
And she's pleased. So
Is
I feel
she?
like I can exhale most times.
Do you think she would tell you if she wasn't?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think she would definitely say, I didn't like when you did such and such and such. So, but she shares a lot of information all the time. And I'm really blown away by the fans, honestly, like, because people are so invested in this show. It's amazing. And I think it sets such a great example for people to, you know, live their lives however they want. People just have all these questions. It just brings up great conversations to go, would you do that? Or would you do that? I didn't think this was right or that was right. Or, you know, people are just invested in, especially Lucille and Charles and the whole cheating thing from season 2 and going into season 3, and how Lucille is now living her life a little bit and everybody got something to say about it. It's just like, wow, okay. Now sometimes Lucille is in the doghouse where Charles was in the doghouse last season, and people really have these intense discussions about relationships, you know, based on the show. And I think that's a really good thing.
When you're filming, do you think like, oh, this is gonna like inspire those conversations? Or are you surprised when you like jump on Twitter X or, you know, whatever and read about it afterward?
I'm usually surprised when I read about it afterwards. When I'm actually doing it, I'm not really focused on what anybody is thinking. I'm just focused on my objective of the scene and communicating something to whoever I'm in the scene with, and telling the truth.
I love that.
Yeah.
When you talked about like your objective in the scene and kind of to do a little actor talk here, I'd love to know, when you're working on a show that's ongoing and that you have a lot of scenes continuously.
Yeah.
What is your method of like breaking down the scene? You know, do you say like, this is my objective, this is my want, these are my actions, these are my verbs, you know, like that's kind of stuff that we'll teach. But for someone like you, like, are you doing all that, or are you really using your instincts? You're hitting up real Lucille? Like, what are you doing?
I mean, most of the time now, especially at this point, and this has been for a long time. I mean, I work intuitively anyway, so but sometimes a scene might be a little more complicated than another scene. So it's like, okay, hey, what's happening? And sometimes, you might need to have a conversation with the writer about, where are we going here? Or I didn't really I don't understand this, or I don't know why she would do this, or, or things like that. But for the most part, I look at the scene. It's pretty. I already know who she is, so I have a comfortability with that. It's like where are we going in the scene? But I don't always break down every single little scene, every little thing. Unless it feels complicated. Like I said, if I feel like, oh, I'm not sure where I'm going here. Okay, what do I want? And I might try to break it down moment to moment. Okay, what do you want here? What's your objection? What changes here? What's, when does the scene take a turn here? And yeah, I do that sometimes. Or sometimes if it's like last season, sometimes I work with my acting coach, Hank Bearings, who's in Los Angeles, that I love, who's freaking amazing.
Shout out, Hank.
Yeah, shout out to Hank Bearings. So, sometimes on more complicated things, and when I want to just, really do something a little different, I might, get with him. But
I think that's so powerful really quickly though, because I think actors, they sometimes, like, it feels like they want to get to a point where, like, they don't need the coaching, or they don't need the classes, or they don't need the mentorship. And it's like, even where you are, you're like, some of it is going to be on instinct, right? Some of it, which I love too, is like, it's a collaboration. Like, I'm going to go talk to the writer, or I'm going to go talk to the director, or your castmates maybe, like, hey, what are we thinking on this, right? But then the other one is like, I'm going to hit up my acting coach and say, on this scene, I think I'm going to have to dig a little bit deeper, or whatever it is, and I'm going to need that help. And I think we're better together. So you will be better because of it.
100%. Yeah.
So I want to rewind time a little bit, because when I was doing my research, I was like, yo, girl, you got the most epic sitcoms in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
You got Fresh Prince, you got Family Matters, you got Wonder Years, you got so many good ones.
Right. I forgot about the Wonder Years. Yeah.
Girl, so right. Can you bring me back to, like, I don't know, what's a super memorable, because, like, at the time, you might not know that those shows are going to be so legendary and iconic, right? At the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, now if you look back, like, you got any, like, give us a secret scoop. Give me a good story. If you're an actor, great news, because our virtual actor summit is coming up quickly. It is going to be September 6th, 7th, and 8th. And early bird pricing is right now, but I'm also going to throw in a $15 promo because you are listening to this podcast. If you're an actor that's wanting really solid strategy and tactics to move your career forward, then this event is going to be for you. Just imagine a 3-day virtual event that's completely immersive, meaning there's going to be participation with different instructors. You're going to be actually working on auditions. You're going to be able to meet other community members here in the Southeast and industry pros that can help give you the knowledge and wisdom to move your career forward. So if this sounds like something that you think would be beneficial to you, head to the link in the description right now. Don't forget to use that $15 off promo code. And I can't wait to see you at our virtual actor summit coming up.
Oh gosh, a good story just about.
But one of the shows, one of them.
Well, I mean, people recognize me most, and then people are surprised actually that I'm Lucille. So people, prior to getting BMF, people always go, "Weren't you on the Fresh Prince? Where you?" So it's Fresh Prince, Family Matters, and Living Single, I think, and Martin too. Some that people like recognize me from. A lot.
All of them are
right,
so good. Yeah.
And then some people don't even know it. Like, I look different all the time. So and then I play a lot of different, kooky things. But anyway, I'll say Fresh Prince, like, I remember auditioning for that, and I had so much fun, like, getting into this whole nerdy thing, and it was really fun. Then when I got to set, I was so nervous. And I don't know that I really, I mean, the show had been on for some years, so it was a very, popular show already, but I don't think I was looking at it like, oh my God, it's Fresh Prince. Oh my God. I think I was more nervous about, I'm in front of an audience and my work. I get nervous, period. I could just be all by myself, whatever. But so yeah, I remember really freaking out, and I cry a lot before when I get nervous and before I perform a lot. Like I worked on this other show called 100 Center Street with Sidney Lumet, and but every time before I would go on, especially if it's a intense scene or whatever, I would cry in the makeup trailer, and everybody knows, oh, just give her a minute. That's what she got to go through her thing or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm about to mess up my makeup. But once I get my cry on, then I've released this thing, and then I'm able to kind of get into it. But I just have to allow it to come up and come out. And that's a big part of my process when I get really nervous. And I was very, very nervous that day when we were shooting in front of the live audience for Fresh Prince. But it was really fun. It was a lot of fun. Everybody was very nice. Will Smith was extremely nice. And Sherman Hemsley from the Jeffersons, who played Mr. Jefferson, was on that episode too. And so I had like a reshoot or something, and I had to go back and do a scene with him. And that was just very cool, And when I'm in the moment, like, when I'm working with people like that, most of the time I'm not really thinking about, oh my God, I'm working with so-and-so. Like really, it's usually, oh my God, I have to do this work. Or I'm like, how are you going to focus? How are you going to do well? I pressure myself a lot about doing a good job. So
what does doing a good job look like to you? How do you know if you've accomplished that?
Oh my gosh, people that know me, like my family and stuff, I'm like, when is it ever a good job? I'm like, I don't know.
They're watching right now. Right, they're like, yeah, Michole, tell us.
Like, when is it? Right, right, exactly. So, yeah, it's hard for me to say that a lot. That God, that is really, yeah, I'm pretty tough on myself. But I'll say this, like I feel proud of the work that I'm doing on BMF. I really do. And, and sometimes still, I still pressure myself. And when I look back on things, it's easier for me to go, oh, you really did a good job. You're okay. But, I don't always see that in the moment, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah.
How important do you think it is? Because I think you certainly ain't the only one that's hard on themselves, and I think there's pros and cons to that, right?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
There's like the pros of like keep working hard, don't stay stagnant, But then there's also the other side of that coin where it's like we should be proud of ourselves more often. We should be acknowledging the things that we're accomplishing.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think you can get in your way, when you're like so hard on yourself. And sometimes it's very important to stop and smell the roses. I think that's and to really, I do think this is really important, is to find gratitude in what you have. And that is like extremely important. And I do try to do that even when I'm hard on myself. Sometimes it takes me a minute to like get there, but it's important to reflect and say, wow, these are the things that I have, or these are the things that I did do well. And all of those things, when you do that, it just raises your vibration and it opens your spirit to allowing more into your energetic field. So that's like extremely important. And I have to work hard to remind myself of that, but that changes the game on everything.
Man, I think
gratitude.
That's such a great point. And I hadn't thought of it like that before, on like when you are in that gratitude, what you're actually doing is like metaphorically like opening the door to receive more.
Yes.
And I think that's like, I don't think we've talked about that before. I think that's so powerful. Can you kind of elaborate on that even further? Because I know that you are a bit of like an energy healer, kind of like, am I saying that correctly?
Sure, yeah.
And so I'm interested to see if there's some elaboration when it comes to that type of energy that you have for us.
Yeah. I would love to share a story.
Oh, yeah, please.
So prior to getting BMF, and I had just booked this other movie called Malignant, this James Wan film, that started really shifting things for me. And so prior to that, I was really in a valley of my career for some years, and I would like book a little something here or there, but it was getting very, very challenging. And I had had several jobs that were, could have been game changers, but then they weren't. Like I had done a series called Read Between the Lines, and I was, a series regular on it. I got to sing actually on. Well, they played one of my songs on an episode, so I got to license my music there. I got to
So
sing on
cool.
yeah, it was amazing. I got to sing on the title song of the show, and that was like a really big deal for me. And then it never aired for like 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then I did a film with Viola Davis and Jennifer Lopez called Lila and Eve, and that was like a huge thing for me. But it did help change things, but it didn't have a big theatrical release and all this stuff like it was supposed to have, and it was like all these things that kind of like could have changed the game, and they kind of didn't. And so, and that was like, lasted for some years and stuff. And Lila and Eve, I will say, did change things. So I auditioned a lot more and stuff after that. But then I started auditioning like crazy, but it was all this self-sabotage going on inside too. So I was auditioning like crazy, but I wasn't booking anything for a long time. And so anyway, my friend, I do body work and stuff and massage and stuff sometimes too. So I'd given her a massage and she was like, oh my God, Michole, you should really do something with this. And it was like, well, you're not working. So, what else? What do you have to lose except $200 that I didn't really have to buy a massage table? But I found it and I did it. And I just started gifting people. And the more I gave to people and I would, go in and I would meditate on this person and really see what was needed, where the issue was or whatever. And sometimes different things would come up to share with them or whatever. And the more I did that, just trying to sort out my own process, the more I was actually clearing my own energy to, because it was like the blessing had to come to me to come through me. And so, taking the time to meditate, to focus, to listen on to what was going on with someone and stuff, I had to open myself up to, meditation stops the energy, stops the flow, opens the door for the flow to come to you. So you get to stop for a second. It's like when you wake up in the morning, there's that moment because where you get to reset, you refresh by sleeping. And when you wake up, it's like, okay, I can start again. This is a new moment. And meditation is like the same thing. And, so anyway, I was just doing all of this stuff and it really started changing things. So I worked with one dear friend of mine who had been trying to pass this real estate exam for some years. But I didn't know she had been trying to pass it for years. I thought she was just trying to do it just now. So anyway, we worked together and, we did some body work and some energy work remotely and stuff. And she called me one day and she said, hey, I passed my exam, and she was bawling her eyes out. And I was like, oh my gosh. She was like, I passed my exam, blah, blah, blah. And so I was crying with her and I was like so excited. And my sweetie comes in the room. He was like, hey boo, what happened? He was like, did you get a job? Because I really needed a job really bad. I was like, no, babe, my friend, she passed her real estate exam. He was like, okay, I thought you got a job. I was like, no, you don't understand. When one person gets a job, I it's a blessing for me too. So it's like it had to go like this. And anyway, he was like, okay, whatever. Literally an hour later, my manager calls and said, I have a job in this independent film. And I was like, okay, there's something to this energy for me. So this just started, that's what started changing the game for me. It just was shifting things. So I was like kind of clearing things that I wasn't even aware of because it wasn't a conscious effort not to be like hard on myself and neurotic as hell all the time. It was like, it just was like, I was just like peeling off energetic layers, I think, to allow something to actually come to me. And And gratitude is a part of that too. So, so anyway, I went deep in on, healing work and stuff, even though it's always been a part of my life, but like, especially during COVID and stuff like that, I just really went in on it because I could see how it was changing things for me. It really changed the game for me. And it taught me how to ground myself and to clear my own energy and to allow things to come to me. And it was really not completely conscious, like I said, but I do, just tying it back into the gratitude thing, I think that's a huge part of it. When you acknowledge the things that you have, it says, okay, I'm allowing myself to receive more. You open the door, because we can block our blessings and our gifts by not being open to receiving. It's like you can give all day, and giving is a huge part of it too, but it has to go like this. You have to be able to receive as much as you need to give. They're both equally important, and I was blocking the energy to allow things to come to me and I wasn't really conscious of that. Mm-hmm. And I can't really say, like my path is for everyone. Everybody doesn't need to do energy work or, do it in this way. But I do think gratitude and even meditation is a gateway to allowing, and meeting yourself with love and compassion is extremely important. And I have to remind myself of that all the time. Like right now is a good time for me to remind myself because I can be really hard on myself. But so I'm thankful that I have been able to do the energy work because it helps others, but it does really start with me, that I've been able to really heal myself this way. And I have to do it continuously to stay in the game, and it makes my work better.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love that, and I think that is so important. But how do you, because you're talking about like, you're almost like doing two things at once, right? Of like the gratitude, but then, so it's like the being grateful and almost like the giving like you were doing to also then receive.
Right.
How do you know you're doing the right amount of each? Like, how do you gauge it? How do you measure it?
I think you have to really take care of yourself first. I think that's like and I learned that more recently, like during COVID, because you really give to yourself. And it may sound like it's selfish, but you give to yourself in the same way you would give to someone else. And then what you receive by giving to yourself, then you give that to others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
how do you give to yourself? What are things that you do? Are there exercises? Is it just meditation? Is it a walk? Is it all of it?
Yeah, I think all of those things. I think even sitting down to give gratitude, like I'll write out a gratitude list. It's like, okay, what do I, have? What am I grateful for right now? I'm grateful to be working right now. I'm grateful that I'm working on a set that's really loving and supportive. I'm grateful to be here talking to you right now. I'm grateful to have Clarissa in my corner on my team, who's freaking amazing. And even just saying those things starts to shift my vibration. Like I feel like, oh yeah. I feel good. Just it makes me smile. You're smiling by even hearing me say that. It changes things. And even by me sharing that was still giving too. But I'm acknowledging for myself, so it's still like But all of those things, going for a walk is, and sometimes that takes a lot for me to push myself. It's like, you need to work out today. You gotta, it's like, but when I do, I feel better.
Yeah.
And,
I know, aren't you just mad at the people that like, they like have to work out? Right. They don't like push. I mean, I feel like they got to push themselves.
Yeah.
But like they just work out all the time. You're like, why why is it so easy for you?
Right.
That's
I
how I
do get
feel.
mad about that.
Right?
Yeah. What the heck? Right. I wish that was easier.
But you know what?
I do.
Back to
Yeah,
what you were
yeah.
just saying, which I
Mhm.
love so
Right.
much, is like, but I think it can be like that simple, you know? And I
Yeah.
think allowing yourself to acknowledge that it can be that simple, like
Yeah.
you just saying like, I'm thankful to be talking to you. I'm thankful for my team over here.
Yeah.
Like, that's enough. Like, it
Right.
doesn't have to be some crazy equation. It doesn't have to be this wake up at 5 a.m. and meditate for
Right.
63 minutes and,
Right.
you know, then do yoga for 47 minutes. Like, it doesn't have to be some crazy thing. It's like, it could be that simple. And it's
Yes.
that giving and receiving.
Yeah. Like you can do like 5 minutes a day of meditation. And I would do that. Like I would set my timer for 5 minutes and so many things would happen in 5 minutes. So much information would come through. Like, you know, I could journal about like, you know, I would see angels and they would show me messages and there would be this and that and it'd be this whole thing and I would journal about it, be like, oh, wow. And all that happened in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, just it can change the game. Everything can happen can change in an instant if you just like take a moment. And I'm reminded of that just even talking to you right now. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, it can shift just like that if you just stop for 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of gratitude, I heard you say that 50 Cent gives really good gifts.
Oh, he does give really great gifts.
What's the best gift you got from 50?
Working on BMF.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Working on BMF. Yeah. Yeah. And he sends like amazing bottles of, I think it's Branson alcohol.
Okay.
These bottles are like, I'm like, do they have gold on them? But they're just amazing. And
Do you drink it or you're like, I can't drink this?
no, I have drank it. It's
Okay.
really, really good.
Is it?
Yeah. We just did the For Your Consideration event. It was a panel discussion and stuff. And he came to that. And afterwards they were serving his alcohol. And I had a little taste, you know, it was kind of good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
He's
awesome.
amazing though. Yeah.
I love that. When you see someone like that, right? Because
Yeah.
obviously he's known for his music and he has then shifted into like vitamin water, like shifted also like different entrepreneurial things to EP this and like, so when you see that, are you like inspired, like as an artist, like I need to be doing other things, not just this? I mean, you do some of the energy stuff that like really, like you said, kind of almost like led to where you are now because it helped bring like welcome it, if you will.
Yeah.
And then also your incredible acting career. But does that inspire you to like want to be doing like so many other things?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's amazing and completely inspiring and he shares so much information. And yeah, I don't know how the heck he does all the things that he's doing, but I mean, one thing I will say, like in this business and this I've been doing for a long time, I don't wait by my phone for anything. So it's like, I think it's really important to constantly create for yourself. And when I get a job, it's icing on the cake. You know, I always think of it like that. So in the meantime, it's like, okay, what can you create for yourself? I also write. I'm a singer-songwriter as well. And I've written some scripts, you know, and I co-created a project that I will be doing soon and probably producing and all of that stuff too. And it's really out of necessity, you know, because it's not always what I want to do, but you just cannot sit by your phone anymore. I just don't think it's wise.
No, I cannot agree more.
Yeah.
I cannot agree more. So the project that you're co-creating, what are you prepared for it? Like, are you ready? Like, the reason why I asked that is because I feel like for us to get outside of our comfort zone, really truly grow as people, right? Like, we have to be like, sometimes jump off the cliff and hopefully we put together the parachute on the way down, you know? Are you like, no, I'm gonna figure some shit out along the way here? Or you're like, no, I have the team ready. Like, I'm ready for this.
Um, I mean, I feel emotionally ready, but there are definitely still some steps to go through to have the project completely greenlit. So, but I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
I'm ready for all of it because it's just time. So this is actually a project that I've been working on for some time. So I did this movie called The Strange Eyes of Dr. Mize. Okay, anyway, but it's this kooky scientist or whatever. But so anyway, it's the sequel to that, but it also stands on its own. So, and we've been working on it for some time and blah, 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 blah. Right. I don't know.
No,
But
I
yeah.
love, like, honestly, like, I think with the new age that we are in,
Yeah.
with streaming and AI and all this stuff, like, I feel like all of us as actors need to be taking on some like other roles.
Oh yeah.
And so like I think it's inspiring that you're doing it as well, because it's like I think we all need to be stepping up to the plate. And it's just so easy to be like, well, I don't know that. That's for them, not for me.
Right.
And not step up to the plate and learn and grow and do what needs to be done. And, you know, sometimes realizing that it's not the what, it's the who. So it's just like getting together with the right community and the right people to partner with.
Right. Exactly.
So are you, do you have all of your people kind of in place, or you're still building the puzzle behind the scenes here?
I'm still building parts of the puzzle. Yeah.
Nice.
But there are a lot of things that are already in place. Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I wish you the best of luck with it,
Thank you.
or break the legs, or, you know, whatever. I feel like you wouldn't like that saying.
Break a leg.
Yeah, break a leg. I think, or do you like good luck?
It's fine. It doesn't
like,
really
whatever.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
says them-
yeah,
says
I
them all.
don't get hung up on the words of that. It's like I know you mean well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So back to BMF, as you've been going through this journey, can you talk about some of the things, like, as an artist, as an actor, that you have learned through this journey so far?
I think one of the biggest things for me with BMF and Malignant also was because I have been in such a valley for such a long time. And the thing that put me in the valley was that I was just so caught up on all of these things, you know, like, you know, as you age in this business and as a woman and things are changing and it's like, what is going on? And just, you know, I just went in on myself and was judging myself for this and that and feeling like, oh, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not, you know, whatever. Just all of these things about myself that I felt like were wrong, that I was lacking or whatever. And so sometimes, you know, when I'm working, it's like, oh, you know, you're working with makeup and hair and you don't know, you know, if somebody's going to get it right or whatever. And, you know, you can have anxiety about that. But with both of these jobs, I had to really force myself to not get involved in that. I was like, just let it be, Michole. Like, and I was like just feeling really insecure. I didn't like the way I looked and just in general, especially when I first got Malignant and stuff too. So, but it was just like, let it go. Like, be in this place at this time. Let people do their job, whether it works, whether it doesn't work or whatever. That is not your problem. You focus on the work and you stay in this job. And like, because all of these other things were getting in my way, you know, of not, you know, trusting this within myself or whatever. It's like, just focus on the work, period. And so, and especially by the time I got BMF, like I was really deep into my energy work and stuff like that. So I was just focused on that on a regular when I was on set, and I would be in my zone spiritually, like just like, I didn't let all these other things, because especially when you're working on a new show, the pressure is so high because, you know, it's just so high. You don't know who's going to stay, who's going to go, or why they might let somebody go or whatever. And all of that can happen like in an instant and you don't know why. So I was just like, do not get caught up in any of this stuff. Just do the best work you can and come in here slaying, Michole, period. That's all you need to focus on. And I was able to do that, especially the first season. Then it started changing the more I got comfortable a little bit. But the first season, I was able to really just stay out of the way of everything. And I think that's that's one of the biggest things I learned, I think, and I have to continuously remind myself of that. Like, just don't get caught up in all the details or the minutia of all of these things, and just stay focused on doing great work.
I think that's so important on like so many levels, because like you said, you can get in distracted, if you want to call it distracted,
Yeah.
but on the things that just like you don't have control over. And it's
Yeah.
like, if you focus on that too much, that can really just like run your life in a sense, and your stress levels and the energy that you bring. And it's like stuff you don't have control over. And I think
Yeah.
it's so important to remember that we just need to focus on us,
Yeah.
and focus on the energy we bring, the state that we're in, how we're affecting and serving other people, and focusing on doing our job, and the rest is going to happen how it happens.
And just allowing it to be in that place, like for a while, for a time, like, it's like, if you don't like it, like, I was just like, even if you don't, it comes out and it doesn't look right, or it doesn't this is like, get to the next step, to the next level. Like, so what? It's like this. It will not always be that way, like, it won't always be that way, but allow it to be this way for now, and keep it moving.
Yeah. And kind of, I mean, I'm so inspired by all the things that you do. And, you mentioned singing as well. And you had a song that was licensed in a show, but you also have a show coming up at the Velvet Note in Alpharetta, right
Yes.
here outside of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Tell us about that show, and why even that type of performance and in a live performance singing is something that like you're passionate about doing.
Okay. So now we're getting into like, so music is far more vulnerable for me. I mean, I'm vulnerable as an actor too. It's just different because
I could see it.
yeah,
Look, that you changed.
right.
It was
Exactly. I'm like,
interesting,
because music is like, it scares me in a different way, because it's more of my real self. You know what I mean? And I put all of myself into my acting, into whatever I do. I really pour my heart and soul, and I try to be as honest as possible in it. But I feel a little safer sometimes because I have a script. I know that the words are good or good enough, and it's not just me, you know what I mean? And I feel like I can, but I don't even get caught up in that. It's just like I have this safe place to express myself as an actor. And as a singer, like there's just I feel like there's nowhere to hide, kind of. And not that I'm hiding, because I hate to put it that way, but it's just me out there. Like, even, I get very nervous about interviews and stuff too, and far less than I used to, but it is still like me talking about myself, or
Yeah,
like what,
right.
and like, what are you going to say? Are you going to make sense? Are you, it's me, there's no script here or whatever. So it's like, you're just kind of flying out here right now. So, yeah, it brings up different things. So I get excited about, music and the opportunity to really show up and feel comfortable. And that doesn't always happen, but the fact that I can like just be there, and like this makes me feel emotional even talking about these things. But yeah, to be able to show up and be myself and just go, okay. And I don't know where I'm going all the time. It's just like really just trusting the process and learning to do that better.
I love it. I love it. So it's July 20th.
It's July 20th at the Velvet Note in Alpharetta.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
So what should we expect if we're coming to see you? And you should.
Right. You should come see me with lots of love and compassion, and I would love to have an experience with you, and to share my heart as much as possible, and I hope that you will feel something. That's really my goal, and I hope that I feel something to, so that it goes like this, and we can have a conversation. I would like to have a conversation with the band and then have a conversation with the audience, and that we just all have this kind of magical experience together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're gonna show up exactly the way you need to show up. So I'm not worried about that. You're gonna feel the things. I know it, and you're gonna cry before.
Right. I'm crying now. I'm like, ah.
Well, Michole, I feel like this brings us to our spotlight sign off. It's 5 questions to end strong. Okay.
Okay.
Number 1, and we've already talked about gratitude, but
Okay, good.
what's something you're super grateful for today?
I think I did share some. I'm super grateful to be here talking to you today, and that's real. And I'm super grateful for the questions that you have asked that have forced me to kind of dig deep and express something truthfully and feel something. And so I'm really grateful for that. And again, I'm grateful for Clarissa. I mean, I could go on about the things I'm grateful for just this present moment right now of being here and able to be present and express my truth.
I want to just share that I'm grateful for that too. I mean, we kind of talked about it before we got started. Just the kind of the beauty that I think escapes us sometimes of just being able to be present with someone and connect with them, I think is special. So I'm also grateful for that. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
The second question is, what is a film, TV show, book, or event that changed the trajectory of your life?
That changed my career?
Changed the trajectory of your life. Like you were maybe going this way and then it took a hard turn based on X, Y, Z.
Pretty much what I shared earlier about, doing this work, this energy work and stuff really changed my life, honestly. And then BMF has changed my life, has changed my career. But I believe that preparation met the opportunity. And because I had done this internal work, it allowed me to be prepared for this job. And it just grounded me and centered me to be able to handle things in a way that I don't know that I could have. Like, I always feel like, I'm a good actor. And I really trust the work that I do as an actor. But it's all the other things that come with it that, it's like when it comes to the business or all these things in the, how I look or what I feel like what I'm lacking or all of these things are the issue, like being on the red carpet and what do you say and how do you do? And, all of these other things about being comfortable within yourself are what makes stars kind of thing, whereas, just doing the work is enough, but it's like the comfort that you can feel within yourself. And this work has really taught me a lot of that. So I can sit here and talk to you in the way that I do right now and feel okay about myself, You
should feel okay.
Yeah.
You sound great. You look great. What is something within your daily routine you really cherish?
I cherish these are moments that I cherish more recently. So I do integrated energy therapy, which is it's similar to Reiki, but you're working with the angelic realm. And so I can attune myself. So I've, taken the master class many times because each time I take the master class, it raises my vibration. And so, and you get an attunement when you do the master class. But now I've forgotten that I can attune myself, all the time. So now I attune myself more, and I do cherish those moments because it shifts my vibration. It raises my vibration. I cherish the moments where I can actually stop, and I'm doing this right now because I know I need to, and acknowledge the good things that I have actually accomplished. And when I can actually, don't get emotional, Michole.
Why?
I'm like,
Just be free.
oh my goodness. When I can actually meet myself with love and compassion, and how important that is. And I'm just reminded to do that right now because that makes a difference. I can spend all day like beating myself up and stuff like that. And really, the compassion really makes a difference, and really being able to stop and be thankful and be gentle and loving, and know that I'm enough and perfect as I am right now, and be able to share that with someone else. I cherish those moments. And I cherish that I'm able to say that in this moment right now, share with you.
Well, I appreciate your vulnerability and you sharing it right now. Absolutely. Well, we'll see how this question goes next. What's something you're currently working on in your life? This one actually probably will be easy. You're like, I'm working my ass off constantly.
Right. I am working my ass off constantly. But on like, what do you mean in general? Like,
just like, what's something you're trying to improve in your life right now?
Music, leadership.
Leadership.
Yeah. I'm really, that's important to me now because I never fully saw myself, in a leadership role. I never think of it like that. I never think about, like, even directing. Like that's, I'm thinking about that a lot now, and really shadowing and observing a lot now to learn that lesson. And people ask me questions and stuff like that all the time, or want, like I've taught some classes and stuff, but I've never been like, oh yeah, I'm a teacher. I just never see myself that way. But people ask me so many things, and I'm just like, okay, maybe you have more to share or give than you're aware of. And then, I guess teaching or teaching the thing that I need to learn most about, really being in that position and trusting myself that I may have more to give and to share than I know. So I am working on that.
I love that. I love that. All right, last question.
Okay.
End of strong. We've gone over a lot.
Okay.
So
all right.
we might bring it back, or you might bring up something new. But if you wanted all the listeners to get one thing, what would you want them to leave with?
Only one thing? I'm going to say more than one.
All right, fine. You can say two.
Okay. Love yourself fiercely and keep going, because it's never too late. You're always evolving. We are constantly evolving. And sometimes it seems like life is over. I've thought that so many times. And, but your best years are ahead of you, not behind you. And to trust your unique and authentic process, your journey, because everything, wherever you are right now, is still going to lead you to where you need to be.
Yeah.
No matter where that is, it's still part of the journey, an important part of the journey that at some point you're going to go, oh yeah, I see why that happened. Like when I think about my deep valley that I was in, that was really dark for some time. Without that valley, I would not have gone into the energy work and as deeply as I did. And I shifted my focus into this new other place that changed the game for me completely. And so, but if I had not hit my bottom where I was, I don't know that I would have gone into it the way that I did. But this was part of my divine purpose to do this, because it's changed my life. And so trust your journey. You will use everything that you have at some point in your life.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Michole, thank you so much for being here with
Man,
me.
thank you, Jesse.
It was
fun.
so fantastic to have you.
Yeah.
Everyone, don't forget to check her out July 20th at the Velvet
Note
Note.
in Alpharetta.
That's right, in Alpharetta. So check that out. I'll make sure to get the link, have it in the description too, so people just like
Sweet.
find it right there. So thank you again so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Everyone, if you enjoyed this episode, pass it on to a friend. If you love the channel, make sure to leave us a review. It really does help so much. Thank you so much for being here again. I'm Jesse Malinowski. I'll see y'all on the next one.